All right, before you comment something negative on this video, just make sure you watch the video to the end so you will see why I'm doing it this way, okay? Bolo! Okay, some of you guys are coming from FL Studio, Ableton, Studio One, Logic, all that good stuff, Reason, and you guys are now in the MPC world and you're trying to find out the best way to pattern out your 808s on the MPC. Now, I'm going to show you guys the method that I use, and I really feel like this is absolutely the best way to put down your 808s. Now, some of you guys are going to comment and say, hey, we've been know about this, or this method seems like it's not right. Just watch the video to the end so you guys will see why I'm doing it this way. And then you guys will probably say, you know what, Bolo? You might be right. So let's go ahead and get to it so I can show you guys how I pattern out my 808s on the MPC Live, MPC X, MPC One, and you can do it on the Key 61 as well. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, as you guys can see, I have my MPC Live right here. I have my MPK Mini right here, and I have the MPC software pulled up for you guys who actually like to use your MPC with the software. So I want to show you guys how I do this, and you have to use a key group, okay? I'm not really a fan of key groups when it comes to using these sounds, because I believe you should be able to just load the sound and press one button and be able to use it and saving the project without you having to save a whole separate key group. But that's how it is. That's how we got to roll with it. But it's very simple. So I actually made a very cheesy beat just now. I'm going to play it for you, and I'm going to show you guys how I implement my basses inside of the track. So let me play you this beat real quick. And this is not going to be the Bolo's best of the best. So let me just play it. That's it. Now, for us to go ahead and use the basses, I actually have, I have a clap, hi-hat, and I have my bass. Okay, that's my bass. And if you have an MPK Mini, same thing. You know what I'm saying? It works the same way. Or if you want to use the keyboard. But the only thing about it is you can't stretch it across the keys. Now, I know a lot of people would say, Bolo, just use the 16 levels. That is cool. I can go ahead and press 16 levels, press my bass, go to 16 levels like that, and pretty much, and yes, that's easy. But the only problem with that is, look at this. You cannot do nothing with it on the keyboard. It just still plays the same things. And it doesn't do nothing on the pads either. So yeah, 16 levels is the way that we grew up doing this. But now that we have the software and key groups, we can do stuff totally different. And this actually works out better for you guys who are not really musically inclined like that. Now, you're still gonna have to use some type of logic to find the key of your bass, but inside of the MPC software, it'll automatically detect the bass note for you. Sometimes it is right, sometimes it's wrong, but they get it pretty much on the right key. So you just have to find out if it's a major or a minor, and that's pretty much it. So you have to use a little bit of music knowledge with that. All right, so we're not going to use the 16 levels. What we're going to do is we're going to go right into this bass right here, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to go into, we're going to go right here into menu. We're going to go to program edit. And this is right here. This is the key we got right here. Once we go to program edit, I'm going to go ahead and press key group so I can add that to its own separate key group. When I do that now, well, actually that's very low. We'll do this. And as you can see, it's showing me all of the keys. All right. Now, this is a very, very, very powerful tool, because now doing it in 16 levels, you were not even able to see your notes right here on the little screen right here on this screen right here. You weren't able to see that. And then if you were to use just on the standalone mode, if you were supposed to go into grid mode, you wouldn't be able to see the notes. But now that you have a key group, you can see all the notes, and either you can do two things. You can either go in here, you can actually type in the notes if you want to, or you can go ahead and play them on the pad. Now, if you want to play them on the pad, there's a way that I do it on the pad that makes it very simple. So let me go right here. Let me go back out to main. Now that I have this key group, which is right here from my X Factor kit. So if you don't have my drum kits, you might want to go ahead and get my X Factor kit. Very, very cheap and dope sounds, as you guys can hear. But what I can do is, now that I have this in this key group, I can go ahead and hit pad perform. Now I'm in pad perform right now, and as you guys can see, it's already set for scale octave A major, which I know that's not what I'm in. I'm actually in C minor right now. Okay, so if I play this note, it's kind of low. But what I can do is if I want to go up, I can, you know what I'm saying, go down or whatever, and I can keep going up higher and higher. That's cool. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually change this right here, and I'm going to change this to, we're going to go to C minor. And we're going to start on the natural root, which is right here, and which that is super duper low, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go right here to notes. Instead of being in chromatic, I'm actually going to go to the actual notes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot this octave up. And as you guys can hear that, it goes up. And it does that. And I'm actually going to pull this octave down. So we can have right here, and we can keep going. So we have it right here, and we can just keep going all the way up and down and keep using the different octaves or whatever scales or whatever we're using. But we're going to be in C natural minor. Okay, so we're going to go down one, and now we are now in the natural minor, which this is my root note. Now, the good thing about me having it inside of notes and having it set on C natural minor, which is C minor, all of my notes are now in order. So if I play it on my keyboard, which I can actually bring this up octave, and I have all my keys on my keyboard, so when I'm playing them, you can see them. And if I play them right here on the MPC software, I can play them, and I can actually type in my notes just like I would do in FL, or if I were doing Logic or whatever. So if I want to actually type in the notes to this, I could do it now that I have this in the key group. Okay, so that's why I was telling you guys, just hang in there with me so I can show you why this is powerful. Now that I got that, I can go through and I can find my notes. And now that I have my notes in here, I will know that every single note that I'm pressing is going to be in the correct key. Okay, so now when I play the beat and I'm trying to find the right bass notes to go with it, every note sounds good with it. So now we can actually play it here, or if we know our notes on the keyboard, we can go ahead and play right here in our C minor scale. Very simple. So I can play it on here, I can play it on these pads right here if I wanted to, or I can play it on here. Does not matter. So let's go ahead and add a quick little bass line to here. All right, so now that we played all the notes here, we can play everything back now. All right, very cheap little bass line. It's all good, it's just for the tutorial, okay? But now, as you guys can see, we have all of our notes in here, and we can see all of our notes. So if we want to make any changes to the notes, we can actually go and add them in. This is the reason why this method is much better, because if I want to add like another note, I can hold Option, drag another note right here. And we can do that. We can add triplet notes. We can do whatever, and we can see everything on our timeline. Okay, so this is one of the advantages of doing it this way. Now, the other reason why I say this is the best way is, let's say, for instance, you feel like the key of this track is not where you want it to be. You feel like the bass may be too low, it may be too high, and you want to change the actual key of the track. Well, with this, you can now transpose. Now, if you're in the regular 16 levels and you're just doing the basses on the pads using the 16 levels, when you transpose everything, it'll transpose all the sounds, but your bass line will not change by you just hitting on the pad. Now that you have your bass line in the key group, it will actually transpose with everything else. So let me show you. So when I'm playing this, right, I'm gonna go ahead and click on the transpose right here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and show you what's gonna happen. So when I press play start, boom, that's why this method is the best way. So now, not only can you see your notes, not only you can go in and type in your notes, but you can actually transpose the whole track, and you can do this from sequence to sequence. So if you want to do changes within your tracks, you can keep it on one scale, you can go to the next sequence and change it to another scale, and now your bass can follow. And the good thing about this is you can do this with not just with basses, but if you have one-shot sounds. You can do this the same exact way with one-shot sounds, with bells, brasses, whatever you want to do. If you have it in its own separate key group, you can go ahead and use it that way. So this is why I say, to me, this is the absolute best way to sequence and pattern your basses inside of the MPC X, Live, One, MPC Keys, whatever you want to use, the software. This is the best way to do it, okay? If you feel like it's another way that's better, please let me know in the comments. But to me, I think this is pretty cool. All right, there it is. You see? You see why I do it that way? Now, if you feel that there's a better way, please let me know in the comments, okay? Why you feel like your method might be a better way, because there's no right or wrong way. I just feel like it's the best way for me, okay? So hopefully you guys learned something from this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And like I always say, peace out.